to win the championship on Saturday's Game 5. Keyshawn J. Will Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests join us on the Goodyear Hotline. And so we have two questions for you this morning. One, we're getting some tweets on, and that is off of the Home Run Derby last night, in this sense of maybe I'm in the prison of the moment. Home Run Derby has become way more entertaining, way more must-watch than the NBA Slam Dunk Contest. And one of the tweets I got is actually the best way to put it, is that Andrew said that the dunk contest is not having big names hurts it year after year. At least in the Home Run Derby, these are all guys that are stars, well-known players in the game, and there's something dramatic about that. Whereas the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, you just don't have that element like we did when it first started with Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and those types of guys, Vince Carter, big names in the game, just not part of it. And LeBron James has never participated in it. I think that's also hurt it as well.
LeBron James is a power dunker.
Yep.
He's not a art dunker like the creative ways of fast breaks, and you see guys doing things. That's just not, LeBron's not that. That's not what he is.
So what? Everybody wanted. So what?
Everybody
wanted him to do it. Just do it for the people. Just do it.
Do it.
Who cares if you lose?
Do it and lose, or do something awkward and hurt
yourself. Put on a show and smile about it.
Oh.
Ohtani. Everybody's excited about Ohtani. He doesn't get out of the first round. He smiled, laughed, and everything was over with.
Yeah, but
Put on a show. It's about the show.
Ohtani is hitting jacks left and right.
Yeah. Well, LeBron's going to make a couple of breathtaking dunks because, like you said, he can power dunk.
He's not gliding from the free throw line in the air. He's too big.
You don't think he could jump from the free throw line and dunk the basketball?
Yes,
6'8"?
but it won't look the same. He's not going to sit up there like Jordan and double cock it and pull it back up and make it look like he's walking in air. No, it's not like that.
All right.
It's just not. And our stars, okay, so you say stars. I would love to see Steph Curry have an 80-inch vertical. That would look great.
So it's about shorter guys.
It really, to me, it really is, because it just looks graceful when they're in the air.
Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, two guys that aren't small.
No, they're
about
not.
6'7", 6'8".
No, but they did some
They had a
creative
great
things.
show, and that was really the last time it was exciting. So we have that question for you. 888-SAY-ESPN.
Stoudemire in the dunk contest.
729-3776. Yeah, 6'10" and stuff like that. It's a lot hard to do. But we also were talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo and how just something we've noticed, he's back-to-back 40-point games in the finals. I mean, the only other guys to do that is LeBron and Shaq. Yet, while media and a lot of fans do marvel at Giannis and his performances so far and what he's been able to do, it's just hard not to notice that the superstars of the sport don't react the same way as they do to others who will have a great game in the playoffs. And we're just wondering why. And a lot of people think it's because it's not as much skill in the James Harden stuff that he said a couple of years ago or last year. It's not really a skill thing with him. It's just, his length, his athleticism, and maybe that there's not as much respect for his game. So we're just asking about that as well. How accurate is that? Let's take some calls. Ron is in St. Louis with a comparison. Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, yeah. I just think that Giannis is a lot better skill-wise than Shaq. Shaq was just a power jumper, power dunker. He had a little baby hook, but he didn't have the assist that Giannis has. Giannis has court vision. So to compare the two of them, I think Giannis has just as much skill as Shaq. He just doesn't have the rings yet.
And so does Joel Embiid. But what does that mean? It means that I'm not – first of all, nobody's scared of Giannis the way they were Shaq. Shaq struck fear in dudes. They were scared of Shaq.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally.
You didn't want to get dunked on by Shaq.
No,
it might hurt.
Not even dunked on. You didn't want him to get his big ass on the blocks because it was a wrap. Whenever he set himself up and got on the blocks, it was a wrap. Wasn't nothing you could do.
People forget he was breaking, not shattering backboards, but he literally, in one game, broke the rim to a point where the hydraulics snapped and their whole backboard just folded.
Yeah, he just
I've never seen that
you
before.
could do. It was a runaway train at all times of the night when he was on the court.
That's the thing. Is like that's why I hate that comparison. Shaq was
in
his prime was breathtaking.
But people only comparing him to Shaq because of the missed free throws.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Seriously.
I'm not buying that. How about Mike in Georgia? Go ahead, Mike.
I really think with the last guy that came on, really hit it on the button, man. I totally disagree with both of you guys. What's separating Giannis and Shaq is literally just rings right now. all right, because he does not have the skill that Giannis has, and Shaq never did. He couldn't shoot free throws. He couldn't shoot three-pointers.
Are you scared? Are you scared of Giannis or you scared of Shaq?
Giannis can't shoot three.
Because I can poll many NBA players, and I promise you, they fear Shaq over Giannis 100%.
I literally did that yesterday and got that same response.
He outweighs Giannis by at least 100 pounds. All right, so that you're looking at Shaq.
No,
right,
I'm not talking about
You got to remember
weight wise.
1993
I'm talking about
through 2000 Shaq.
No,
like
I'm
that
not.
7 years of Shaq was a
Well,
most dominating
Mike, you're
force
talking
we've
about
seen.
his weight. I'm not talking about his weight.
Power.
I'm talking about his power, and I'm talking about the ability to strike fear in your opponent. Giannis ain't striking no fear in nobody. You haven't heard it. You haven't heard one player say Shaq, NBA player, say Giannis is a better basketball player than Shaq. Not one.
The NBA now has way more skilled players than when Shaq first came in the league. Look at it. Every team, you can look at every team in the NBA.
You know what Shaq could do to Giannis?
Superstars.
You know what
You
know what Shaq could do to Giannis, even though he is the reigning defensive player of the year? Did you ever remember a guy named Mutombo, what Shaq used to do to him? Like, come on.
Yes, sir.
Come on now.
Yeah.
But let me make this last
Let's keep it
point.
100 if we're going to talk.
One last point, Mike.
When I compare these big guys, and the all around and how can they play the game? Giannis can guard big men. Shaq could never guard the superstar men like the big guys that was good. Shaq is just a big guy that can dunk.
No, Mike, nah.
Lies,
Mike,
and more
that's
lies.
my wheelhouse, that era, and that's not accurate at all.
Not all.
Accurate. You're thinking of Shaq in a Cavs jersey when he was overweight.
No, you're thinking of Shaq.
You can't think of that.
Shaq in a Celtics jersey when he didn't even play.
You got to think of the Shaq that was wearing an Orlando Magic jersey and then went to L.A. That's as good a player, and that's an era where he was going up against Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, like that crew, Alonzo Mourning. They couldn't hold him, and at the other end, he was so strong and back then more nimble, athletic. He was devastating, man. People forget because you remember the older version of him. You can't let that memory sink in. You got to go back to those days. He was a different player, and what Key's saying is the reaction I got from former and current players I talked to yesterday about this whole thing, and they were like, no. Shaq was a totally different player because of what Key's saying. You respected him because you feared him at both ends of the floor. Like he was a guy that you lost sleep going up against him.
I like Giannis.
And it's not saying Giannis isn't good. That's what I mean. Like it feels like we're disparaging Giannis.
But I don't want to compare him to something that I know is different.
That's not right.
Like I don't understand when people do that. They take one thing that Shaq did that Giannis does now, which is miss free throws.
Yeah.
And they take that and they go, he's just like Shaq.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, he's not.
No.
That happens in football as well with people in baseball, all sports. They start trying to compare a guy based on one thing.
Let's take John in Texas. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I thought the question was, does Giannis deserve more respect? I didn't think it was a comparison
that's what a lot of people
between him and Shaq.
No, it's not. It's what other people are doing. That's why they
Okay,
bring it
so
up. But yes,
I'm going to put my 2 cents in with regard to the question. Does Giannis deserve more respect? And I say yes. In this current age of basketball, and I'm 77 years old, so I've been watching it for quite a while. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. The Bucks wouldn't be where they are.
That's true.
They've been,
but John,
they've been a very respectful team since they drafted him.
John, let me ask you this question.
No,
stay with me, John. Why do you think he doesn't get the respect?
I don't know. I just don't know. There's a sea change in basketball, as you well know. I mean, you all have seen it in your lifetime. I've seen it in mine. I mean,
you know why? You know why he doesn't get the respect? Because they don't respect his game. They meaning the NBA players that my partner Hahn, almost called you John Hahn, Alan Hahn, spoke with yesterday as he did his research as a fine reporter for many years here in the New York area. Spoke to many current and former NBA players. They don't respect his game like that. They just look at it as put your shoulder down, and if you can get inside the box, great. And if not, we win. That's why.
And I think John is right in the point he's making, and I appreciated his call because, again, you take somebody that's been watching the game a long time, he said he's 7 years old, that the game is changing, and it's true, and he should get more respect, and that's why I asked the question is why, like, I just can't help but notice Dame Lillard makes a logo three, and you get this whole bunch of tweets from NBA players.
It's harder to do that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is, but there's a different type of reaction. Giannis goes for back-to-back 40s.
Yeah.
I felt like yesterday we were doing it yesterday, and I was like, this guy just went for back-to-back 40s in an NBA Finals. Like, he's averaging 34 a game in the finals.
Where did the majority of the 40s come from?
All of it came in the paint.
That's why they like,
And even like Monty Williams, like one guy